Hello to all viewers. In today's episode we will talk about Kabbalah among the Jews. The old Kabbalah is, according to some, a kind of mysterious Freemasonry, according to others, a mystical explanation of the Bible, the art of finding hidden meaning through the analysis of words, and the art of performing miracles by pronouncing certain words in a certain way. And if you believe the rabbis, whoever has this secret knowledge is freed from human weaknesses, is assured of good things. Supernatural has the gift of prophecy, the power to perform miracles, and can turn metals into gold, i.e., he knows the secrets of the philosopher's stone. Kabbalah also teaches that the world below the moon will last for 7,000 years and everything above the moon will last for 49,000 years. Kabbalah has been preserved among the Jews in the form of an oral tradition. They believe that God passed this knowledge on to Moses at the foot of Mount Sinai, that Solomon was a great expert in it, the author of the mysterious figure called the Jewish Kabbalah tree, and that no one can make talismans better than him. Tostat even claims that Moses performed miracles with his staff because the name of God was deeply carved on it. Wall drama, however, notes that the apostles similarly performed miracles using the name of Jesus, and supporters of this system mention many saints whose names raised the dead. The Greek Kabbalah, supposedly created by Pythagoras and Plato, drew its power from various combinations of Greek letters and allowed one to perform miracles using the alphabet. Great Kabbalah, or Kabbalah in the modern sense of the word, is the art of communicating with elemental spirits using secret spells. It explains the deepest secrets by using numbers, changing the order of letters in words, and studying their mutual references, from which Kabbalah experts have drawn their rules, and here are the ones Kabbalists list: spirits of the elements. Each of the four elements is inhabited by peculiar creatures much more perfect than man, but just like man, mortal. The air, this vast space between the earth and the sky, has hosts nobler than birds or insects. The immensity of the oceans has inhabitants other than dolphins and whales. The underworld was not created only for moles, and the element of fire, more noble than the others, was not created to be empty and unnecessary, and neither were salamanders. They live in fire. Scythes inhabit the air spaces, gnomes, the interior of the earth, and Aquarius and nymphs, the water depths. These beings are composed of the purest elements of the elements that inhabit. Adam, even more perfect than him, was their king. But since he committed a sin and became unclean and common, he ceased to have anything to do with these beings and lost all power over them. But we can console ourselves with the fact that a way was found in nature to regain the lost power and be able to do so again, to rule over salamanders and have them at your command. You need to concentrate the sun's heat using a concave mirror in a glass lampshade. Solar dust is created there, which cleanses itself by itself. If you swallow it, it can release the fire that lies dormant in us and cause us to become a kind of matter, fiery. From that moment on, the inhabitants of the sphere of fire obey, treating us as related natures and giving us all the respect due to the viceroy of the Creator. Likewise, in order to rule sylphs, gnomes or nymphs, a glass ball must be filled with air, earth and water, then tightly closed and exposed to the sun for 1 month. Each of the individual elements of matter purified in this way becomes a magnet attracting the right beings. By taking the preparation prepared in this way every day for several months, you will be able to see the flying sylph community, crowds of nymphs swimming to the shore, gnomes, guardians of mines and underground treasures presenting their riches. Contact with them does not bring any risk. You can easily convince yourself that they are honest, wise and God-fearing. Their souls are mortal and have no hope of joining the Supreme Being they know and worship. They live for a very long time and die only after many centuries. But what are hundreds of years compared to eternity? So they complain about their fate, but it can be remedied as man through a relationship with God participates in what is divine. Says Sophie. Gnomes, nymphs and salamanders, allying with man, become participants in immortality. I would like to mention here that I am constantly quoting the views of learned Kabbalists, and so the soul of a nymph or Sephida becomes immortal, and so the soul of a nymph or Sephida becomes immortal when she manages to marry a sage. A gnome or a salamander ceases to be mortal when she marries a human's daughter. It can be concluded from this that these beings, they flock to us eagerly when we invoke them. Kabbalists must renounce all relations with the human race if they do not want to offend the sylphs and nymphs with whom they want to associate. And since the number of true experts in Kabbalah is small, the nymphs and sylphids resort to various, even subtle tricks to keep them with them. A widower from Bavaria was in great despair after the death of his wife. One of the sylphs took on the form of a dead woman and appeared to him, telling him that God had resurrected her to comfort him in his despair, and they lived for many years. But the young lord was not wise enough to keep the sylph with him. One day she disappeared, leaving him only a few of her clothes, and he regretted that he did not listen to her good advice. Many early heretics mixed elements of the Jewish Kabbalah with the ideas of Christianity. They worshipped four types of beings intermediate between God and man, which were considered to be salamanders, Syrphs, Aquariuses and gnomes. Such beings were the first to be invented by the Chaldeans, who believed that they were the souls of the dead who, in order to appear as humans on earth, clothed themselves in a body on the moon. Oriental Kabbalah is also the art of communing with geniuses who are summoned with barbaric spells. Although individual varieties of Kabbalah differ in detail, they are based on similar assumptions. There are many stories about Kabbalah. It is said that Homer, Virgil and Morpheus were learned Kabbalists. The rabbis define Kabbalah as follows: an art that teaches contemplation of heavenly things and communion with eternal happiness of spirits, allows one to learn the features and attributes of divinity, the organizations and functions of angels, the number of their spheres, the properties of heavenly bodies, the nature of the elements, the properties of plants and stones, spiritual affinities, animal instincts and the innermost human thoughts, according to the rabbis, to be known. The greatest mysteries are led by 50 roads called 50 gates of reason. God opened 49 of them to Moses, who opened the whole system. He enclosed all the knowledge that God gave him in the volumes of the Pentateuch. It is there in the form of words or allegories in meanings and arithmetic combinations of letters in the geometric shape of signs in harmonic consonances. Sound. Those who deal with Kabbalah are working on translating this cipher. From this short description it is clear that if these 50 gates lead to truth, There are probably an infinite number of those leading to error. Many Christian sages dealt with Kabbalah in order to gain recognition for it as a serious field of research. The famous Pico della Mirandola wrote an entire book about its importance with great seriousness, arguing in it that whoever knows the properties of the number 10 and the nature of the first spherical number, i.e. 5, will possess the secrets of the 50 gates. Reason. The great Jewish holidays celebrated every 50 years, the 1000th generation of the apocalypse and rule forever and ever mentioned in the Gospel. He added that he himself had found there the entire doctrine of Moses, the Christian religion and the mysteries of the Holy Trinity and redemption, the hierarchies of angels, the fall of demons, the torments of hell, and so on. These statements are made by he defended 72 of 9,000 theses in Rome at the age of 24, much to everyone's admiration.